Good afternoon. I consider this as a privilege to share my testimony among the businessmen from all around this country. And I want to thank the leaders of this organization for allowing me to share my brief testimony. Because of the limited time we have before us, I just want to share with you some highlights of my testimony and my walk with the Lord. I'm especially glad to share my testimony among my adult sons who are here with us in this crowd. I have the association with the Full Gospel Businessman Fellowship for the last 25 years. I would say my friendship and fellowship with the businessmen, Christian businessmen, have positively influenced my life overall. My walk with the Lord, definitely, to be a better husband, to be a better father. In all these areas, I would say, my fellowship and my friendship with the businessmen of our neighborhood have overall helped me. I come from India. We come from a Christian family. So I knew the Lord when I was very young. But to summarize, I would say I was a miserable Christian. If I take a step ahead, then I will go back 2 steps. My heart was full of resentment and anger, and you name it. Those days, one of the businessmen have directed me to a church that I have never attended before. And when I got to the church, I saw they were very glad and very joyful. They were dancing and singing and lifting their hands. And I have not seen that kind of worship before. I come from a background where the worship is very structured. 2 songs, 1 prayer, 1 testimony, 1 message. That is what I am used to, and there is no singing, there is no joy, there is no lifting of hands. But make things worse, even though I liked it, I saw that there is a woman who is leading the worship, which I didn't think was biblical at that time. And so that took me a little time to get adjusted to it, but I saw the presence of God in their midst. And I saw that sick people are getting healed. I saw broken families being healed. I saw demon-possessed people being healed. I saw backsliders coming back. I saw people getting saved. And I said, Lord, if this is real, I need it. And we, as with our 3 young sons at that time, they were 3 and 5 and 7, under 10, we will go, my wife and I will go and sit in the same row in the same place, week after week after week. I will stand there and I will see what is happening. And I will stand there and pray, God, if this is will, let this happen to me. And one Sunday, as they were worshiping, the woman who was leading the worship, she stopped. Her husband from the back started a song. And the song was like this: there is a fountain filled with blood, drawn from Emmanuel's vein. It overflowed me and cleansed me. As that song he started singing, I felt a warm cloud that is landing on my head. And as it landed, both of my hands went up. I started crying like a child. And I could feel that warm cloud is going down from the top of my head all the way to the sole of my feet. As it went down inch by inch, I felt like I am being cleansed. This experience lasted for 15 minutes. And at the end of that, I felt I am a child of God. In spite of my failures, in spite of the dirt in my life, I felt God has cleansed me. And when I went back home, at lunch, we sat together and I apologized to my wife and my young children. God transformed me from inside out. It was no longer an intellectual knowledge. A relationship started developing. Fast forward, my priorities changed where God gave me the desire to go back to India and start sharing the same message. Now, for the last 15 years, God has been using us to go back to India, holding pastors' conference all around India. God gave me a burden to focus on teaching and training and developing leaders. We have pastors' conferences, anywhere from 300 to 800 pastors attending a conference. Team of pastors goes with me from here. But few years ago, the Lord gave me a vision to start a leadership institute. So last year, 2 years ago, we started a leadership institute called Southern Asia Leadership Institute, established in Coimbatore, South India. We have 25 students being trained in that institute now. All of them new Hindu converts. Living on the campus with 4 teachers teaching them. They live on the campus for 10 months a year. They go through a 3-year program. At the end of the 3-year program, they earn a Bachelor of Theology degree. My background is business. But when I turned my life totally to the Lord and made His priorities my priority, He has led me to the point where I have never imagined. All this time, I would say, the businessman has been a blessing to me. Going back, the church where I went, we decided to join that church. We went through a 42 weeks of class. At the end of the 42 weeks, the elders of the church prayed over us and made us members. The reason I am saying is, there is a reason why I am saying this. When the elders prayed over us, one of the elders gave a word of prophecy for me. Those of you know Gateway Church in South Lake. The senior pastor of South Lake Gateway Church, Robert Morris, was one of the elders at this church where I was going. He prophesied over me, that is in 1992. He prophesied over me and said, I have given you a gift of teaching. You will stand before the presbytery again. I will give you professional people as friends. This last 15 years of ministry that I am doing back in India, and the Southern Asia Leadership Institute that we have established in South India, is supported by professional business people God has given me in my life. God blessed me with these people, surrounded me with these good men who helped me accomplish God's destiny in my life. In fact, majority of the board of directors on the ministry are members of Full Gospel Businessmen. I can't help mention the name of our chapter president, Greg Simpson, Jim Porter, Dallas chapter, Fred Reach, Mike Wesley. All these businessmen people are part of this ministry. There is 1.2 billion people in India. God has established us as an outpost in enemy territory. And I pray that there will be more businessmen will come forward and duplicate what we are doing. A time is coming where European missionaries cannot go and preach gospel in India. It's already here. It is so important to train and develop national leaders. That's the vision God has put in our hearts. And that's this businessman is supporting to do. I covet the prayers of all of you. And I want to thank you again for giving me this opportunity. God bless everyone.